Hello and welcome back to Bricking It. And today we're adding a new hidden scene to our plank floored module of our Hogwarts tower. So let's get started. So you may have seen the videos for the previous modules using this same base, and they include the Shrieking Shack and 12 Grimmauld Place. So let's have a look at our interior then. Let's move this out of the way so it doesn't draw our focus. So the first piece of our interior is basically a wall with some interesting bits and pieces on it. Now, the Burrow comes with these lovely stickers, and we've got those elsewhere in the build. But because we are building against the wall, we would have been hard pushed to see those stickers against the wall. So what I've had to do is, from my transfiguration set, just take a few of the blackboard stickers that I'm not using and cut them down just slightly, because they're designed to be on the inside of a 4x3 panel rather than the glass of a 4x3 window. And 4x3, is that right? No, 3x3. There we go. And we just put them on the outside of the glass so that when we stick the sticker onto the inside of the glass, you can actually see that lovely stained glass. There we go. The stained glass and the colourful glass and the patchwork design of those windows. So this is going to be this corner of the build over here. So the build itself is just going to be the Weasley's kitchen. We're not going to do the whole Burrow, but the kitchen is the heart of the home. So we're going to start off with this end. And if we look at some reference material, we can see that when the original home was adjusted, they cut the original ceiling and kept a little bit of attic space up here. And we've just got this attached through the wall on a plate, and then just some detail bits underneath just to add to those old rafters under there. And using brackets and plates, we're just going to build this up. And we've made this little bit of remaining loft, and just like the movie, we've got a green suitcase and a red suitcase and a black trunk on top. They're all fairly simple builds, just stacked plates for the green and the red, and then for this black one I've just trapped a gold stud on the inside just to approximate a lock. This is supposed to be owl cages, but I didn't have that kind of room, so just popped a lantern up there, and somebody has been hiding away some Weasley's Wizard Wheezes products at the back. So in this same shot, we can see that we've got here a large dresser. Obviously under the window, we've got some seedlings. They're just starting off their crops for next year's garden in some pots in front of a sunny window. So we've just popped those on a little table in front of the window. And then here we've got a large dresser, which appears to be made up in the reference images of some cupboards and some sort of like cubby holes on the top. And I've tried to replicate this in a couple of different ways, but when the Hufflepuff house banner came out and there were these lovely cupboard door stickers on there, I thought that's rustic enough to be for the Weasleys. So I just stuck those on a couple of plates, and these are just held on with some snot bricks, any old colours. This still needs a few revisions. I'm pretty sure these guys don't come in medium nougat, and even if they did, I don't know if I want them, because obviously the mainstay of my walls are medium nougat. These cupboards are medium nougat, and everything becomes a bit orange. I do like the warmth of the colours with the reddish browns, dark oranges, etc. But that's just a nice dresser there in the side. Just by this wooden beam here, we've got this small wooden shelf unit with a little jar on top, and then this strange contraption that hangs from the rafters. Both things we can see in our reference images. And then also just dangling from the rafter, we have our oil lamp that sits over the breakfast table. Quite a simple build, just a pin stud on these radar dishes, inverted, clear cylinder, trans orange tile, and then one of these gold fez pieces to complete the bottom. That just fills in that piece, and that is our first area of detail. I've lost a couple of seedlings. Good work, you. Right, so that's our first piece of detail. The side of the building, and we're actually going to put some sidewalls on this. I don't always, but again, we've got a couple of those lovely windows. The original stonework at the bottom of the wall. Oh, guess what? Still haven't replaced all my bricks. How unusual of me. This chair, I think, originally came from Snape's classroom way back when, and I used it as part of my first generation Hufflepuff common room. But now there's a nice comfy armchair. It's found pride of place in the Weasleys' home. Doesn't really fit here in the main, in the actual burrow, obviously. There are some more shelves, and then the broom cupboards here, and the front door is actually here in the original design of the Weasleys' home. But for me, I needed somewhere for the minifigures to go in the display, and that just creates quite a nice cozy corner there under that low headroom as it leads round to the living room. And then on this side, Molly's clock would be about here, and the stairs going up. The stairs actually cut round this way and would be cutting through the display here if it was a fuller model. Next, we have the kitchen door. And again, we've got to worry about seeing these bricks behind that are all multiple colours. So I've used some of this, I think it's trans brown with opalescence, just for the glass there. And this is kind of a split window door. It's kind of split. You can see when the twins enter after rescuing Harry, these lower windows actually slide up, and this is kind of a stable type door, and just the bottom will open while the windows remain in place. So that's what I've tried to replicate with this piece. So I've got the lower windows a bit closer and the rear windows further back to try and simulate that sash window. So that's our kitchen door. Next comes to the heart of the display here, and here we have the sink. So the sink build's nothing too elaborate. We've got a couple of see if we can have a look inside this build together. So let's have a look. So it's just some stacked plates representing the various bits and bobs they've got squirreled away. Couple of clips just hold the legs of the unit on, and these are just a couple of telescopes in dark grey. They just clip in there and slot under our unit tops. So I've tried to match roughly the colours and shapes of the props from the movie. We've just got a couple of items here next to the shelf, and this I think is a bread bin originally, and then the sink itself, replicating one of the old porcelain sinks. Couldn't go too crazy, obviously, due to size restraints with the number of taps, because there are a lot. But I've just added one and then another pair on top there. I think I spent all this time making a nice colourful backsplash for the sink in the Weasley's kitchen, and then I completely obscured it with loads of washing up. So I think it needed a spot of colour, so I went for this very colourful, you know, made up of all sorts of old bits of tiling that they found to make the splashback for the sink. And then, as I say, I covered it up with absolutely tons of washing up. So we've got a bowl with a cup wedged in it, and that just holds itself in place under our cupboard. And then we've got stacks and stacks of self-washed plates, just to give an impression of a kitchen that's constantly feeding a multitude. And they're all just going to sit on the draining board there. Cupboard is actually built into the wall, so we've got a couple of snot bricks here. Oh, there we can see all the colours used there. One of these rail pieces. This is actually another snot piece attached here. So this is usually something you would see built horizontally into the build, but by bringing it vertical, that gave me studs on the front for my cupboard doors, which are just a couple of 1x2 jumpers, and then a couple more seedlings on the top there, built on another one of these rail pieces. We've got the family portrait, which is the version, I think, from Arthur's office rather than from the Burrow set. Arthur's office, of course, part of the Ministry of Magic set. I might be wrong. I'm sure I'll fix that in post if I've messed it up. Another one of these lovely windows. I've tried to put them all in the right place for where they actually appear in the movie, but some of the stickers actually conflate a couple of designs together. So we've got this one in clear, there we go, on the side, and this one using one of those stickered backs just there. And again, more seedlings on this curved surface, which is just under the window there. And I believe that's the straight diagonal actually in the set, the movie set that is, rather than the Lego set. But I've just made it curved just for a bit more interest and appeal. And I've put this under here. I don't entirely know why I did that. Maybe just to fill up the space, but you can handily just use that peg as position for a plant pot or a broom or something else you just want out into the scene, and it folds itself nicely away, and that will complete the backdrop of our scene. Now, I'm still in two minds as to whether to come around this corner. I might do, I don't know. I think I kind of like it a bit more open, just so it's not too oppressive. I know I want to create the feeling of cozy and tight, but the only thing that's here in the movie is yet another dresser, and that's in a kind of cream colour. So that would just be lots of drawers, and that would probably come out a couple of studs past the wall, but then we start losing quite a lot of the real estate we've got. So I might just leave that open, or maybe just complete that wall with the stone at the bottom and the medium nougat at the top, just to fill in the scene. So let's populate the Burrow with some Weasleys. Now, the main feature of this area of the kitchen, of course, is the breakfast table. That very long table where the family gathers round to enjoy their breakfast after Harry's been rescued. And this really is a Chamber of Secrets version of this kitchen, because obviously later in Half-Blood Prince, when the Burrow is attacked and completely set on fire, they redecorate and redesign in time for Bill and Fleur's wedding in the Deathly Hallows. So we actually get the whitewashed look to the walls, and we get the look of the kitchen, the design, which is what you can see at the Harry Potter studio tour. So the exhibition they've got laid out there with a much brighter white wall colour scheme. The windows are all changed, so you've got different stickers. And because I had these stickers from the early version of the Burrow, that's the version I based it on. It does have the drawback of everything being very orange. You know, we've got Ginger Weasleys, and then they've got this kind of terracotta coloured wall and lots of creams and natural woods. So it does become a very samey sort of colour palette, but then again, it is quite a nice and warm set of colours, and it does give that cosy feel. So yeah, as I was saying, the breakfast table can go in along here. I've yet to design that completely. I'm trying to decide whether it's going to be a whole module, or I might just use minifigure torsos and not legs, as it's only going to be for display. And then I can just plug some torsos in behind a table, and that can just plonk onto the display if I want to have the whole family all together. Again, that would just be for the look of the thing. Oh, there's one more member of the family I've forgotten. So the last figure in the scene that we need to add is, of course, Errol, the elderly owl. And he is going to be reprising his famous scene just on the outside of the build here, which is why I've got this tan brick in, which I will be replacing. As usual, got a brick on order. And we're just going to stand him on one of these transparent headlight bricks. And just because his head breaks the plane of the light there, that's why this window is on back to front. You can just see him there. Come on, Molly, don't pull focus. There we go. Just smashing into the window behind Arthur, just as he does in the Chamber of Secrets. Useless. But there is our Burrow, another one of our hidden scenes that was going to be using our central tower as its host area. If you've enjoyed this interior Wizarding World build and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe to Bricking It. Goodbye.